Hello everyone, welcome back to Believer CS Academy Bengaluru. This is the daily news analysis. Today, as usual, we discuss some important articles for UPSC prelims, mains, and interview. The first article for 4th September 2025 is about GST revamp highlights, which has been a burning issue in the current Indian context, which is not going to impact the politics or economics, but also the common households as well. So this is in our news. So I will be discussing only the newspaper articles. Again, we will be bringing a topic of the day where we will discuss complete GST revamp. So it is effective from September 22, 2025 for most of the goods. The rates are 5% is for essential and common use goods and labor intensive sectors, 18% for standard goods and services, and 40% is a special rate for sin and super luxury goods such as tobacco, luxury cars, yachts, and also helicopters. Okay, for this there will be 40% extra, like highest level with there. Next, certain items have been moved to lower rates, that is 0% slab, such as food and daily staples, like all Indian breads, that is roti, chapati, paratha, paneer, ultra high temperature milk. All these things have been moved to 0% GST rate, meaning your daily goods are going to be lesser costly now. Inflation is going to reduce now. Next, health and welfare. Individual life insurance, health insurance policies were reduced from 18% to 0% slab. 33 life-saving drugs, that is tablets and medicines, have been moved from 12% slab to 0% slab. And spectacle for vision correction, again moved from 28% to 0%. Now, all the people who are facing difficulties in their eyesight can now buy spectacles from the uh, shops with 0% GST. Next, 5% slab, that is daily use goods, hair oil, shampoo, toothbrush, toothpaste, bicycle, tableware. These were in 12% slab. Now they will be moved to 0% slab, 5% slab. Next, food and FMCG, that is namkeens, sauces, pasta, noodles, chocolates, coffee, butter, etc. We move to 5% slab. Next, labor intensive sectors, handicraft, marble, granite blocks, intermediate leather goods, etc. will move to 5% slab. Next, industrial and agriculture goods, such as 12 biopesticides and biomethanol, have been moved to lower to 5% slab. Next, cement, cut from 28% to 18%. Textiles, such as man-made fiber, 18% to 5%. Man-made yarn, 15% to 5%. Fertilizers, sulfuric acid, nitric acid, ammonia, 18% to 5%. And electric vehicles are retained at 5% only. Next, special tab, that is a 40% slab has been included for sin and luxury goods. Sin goods like tobacco products such as pan masala, gutka, bidi, cigarettes, sarda, chewables, and unmanufactured tobacco. All these things have negative externality on the person who is consuming, but also on the society as a whole. So they have been provided with, or they have been punished with 40% tax slab. Next, aerated water, caffeinated beverages, they have 40%. Then luxury and personal use vehicles such as large cars, 350cc motorcycles, helicopters, private jets and yachts. All these things have been bound to 40% slabs. So 350cc bullet is going to be more costly nowadays. Next, note for now tobacco items remains at 28% plus cess until the center clears compensation loans expected to be within 2025. After that, they will be moved on to 40% slab. What will be the fiscal and economic impact of this? That is estimated revenue loss. That is 48,000 crore will be the revenue loss based on 23-24 consumption estimates. Government expects buoyancy and better compliance to balance it. Okay, so though there will be lesser returns because of the slab changes, there will be more compliance nowadays. Okay, next, focus on common man, that is cheaper household items, medicines, and insurance cements. This makes consumption more. Okay, they will have more money to spend on the consumption, obviously, which is going to result in investment, investment, and demand cycle. As the demand is going to increase, it is going to result in investment because of the profits. Okay, focus on common man, that is okay. Then for labor and farm support, such as textile, handicraft, fertilizers, and agriculture inputs. So this is done with the aim of focusing on common man. Okay, instead of higher GST collection, now they are focusing on higher GST compliance and higher economic activities. Okay. Next, this marks the biggest GST rationalization since 2017, moving towards a simpler two-rate structure that is 5%, 18% with a separate punitive rate for sin and luxury goods. Very important. So this is a comparison from before and after. This document will be uploaded in the Telegram channel. You can go back and look into the document. Next, concealing judges' dissent is eroding judiciary authorities. So this is an editorial from the Hindu, which talks about a recent tussle in the Supreme Court regarding appointment of judges. The article critiques opacity of collegium system in judicial appointments, highlighting how the concealment of Justice B.V. Nagaratna's dissent on Justice Vipul M. Pancholi's elevation reflects democratic and accountability deficit in India's higher judiciary. Okay, so B.V. Nagaratna is a in candidate for Chief Justice of India in the coming years. She will serve as Chief Justice of India for only for 36 days because she was elevated into Supreme Court judge in later years. Now she is part of CJI. She showed certain dissent regarding appointment of another Supreme Court judge who was previously an High Court judge in Ahmedabad. High Court judge in Allahabad. That is in Uttar Pradesh. So she said that the appointment of Vipulem Mishra or Vipulem Pancholi violates the judicial mandate. That is, there has to be a clear guidelines. That is, there has to be a clear seniority which has to be followed. Here, the seniority was bypassed. Here, the experience was bypassed. So she showed dissent to the account, but it was not taken into consideration. It was considered by the rest of the CGI. Rest of the collegium system. So, what are the key arguments here? Culture of justification. That is, democracies thrive not on laws but culture of justification. That is, public authorities must explain and defend their decisions. Courts enforce this principle on the state but fail to apply it to themselves. Obviously, so if you have seen recently about, take the example of governor case. Court or the judiciary was so active in this case, and they said that center cannot withstand or the governor cannot withstand bills forever. And they provided 3 months of time before the governor can give the assent. Okay, so they have provided a certain time limit for other part of the governance, that is legislature. But judiciary doesn't have their own accountability measure set. If you are appointing a person to Supreme Court as a judge, then you should provide justification. Why did you conceal the dissent of Justice B. Nagaratna? Why he was selected over other candidates? That is not being done by judiciary. The Nagaratna dissent episode. That is, the B.V. Nagaratna reported dissented against Justice Pancholi's elevation. Collegium resolution showed unanimity and no mention of dissent. Why? Though she is part of the collegium, why there was no mention of dissent? Public learned of dissent only via media leaks, and not official disclosure. It raises doubts. That is, was dissent even shared with the union government or not? Okay, that is what implication is. Collegium decisions remains shielded from scrutiny, which will result in loss of transparency and accountability, which will ultimately lead to loss of public trust in one of the chief institutions of the government, that is not Trump trust. I've been dealing with so many Trump articles, so I'm always thinking of Trump nowadays. That is judiciary. Public trust in judiciary is going to get reduced. The flaws in collegium system. The origin of the collegium system started in second judge's case and third judge's case it evolved. The five senior most Supreme Court judges deliberated in secrecy. That is, four senior most Supreme Court judges plus CJI are part of collegium system. They debate and deliberate on appointment of various judges. Okay. Next, since 2017, resolutions were published but skeletal only. Brief 2018 experiment with the fuller disclosure ended due to fear of hampering reputations. Current practice is that there is near total opacity. What is the mandate or what is the criteria you took into consideration while choosing this person as Supreme Court judge? That is not given to public nowadays. So weakness of defense for secrecy. That is, reputation risk for rejected candidates can be mitigated with careful disclosure. Why they stop this disclosure? The judiciary said that this disclosure has to be stopped because we want to maintain reputation of the rejected candidates. but the article says that that can be mitigated with the careful disclosure why he was not necessitated or why he is not elevated to Supreme Court judge. Then political interference risk. That is, secrecy has not prevented government delays or stonewalling. Next, other democracies like UK and South Africa manage open judicial appointment process. Why that cannot be followed in India? Then democracy is at stake at the moment. Judges shape key constitutional outcomes such as civil liberties, executive limits, and federalism. Because therefore, without transparency in selection, institutional legitimacy erodes here. Judiciary cannot demand accountability from other branches while exempting itself from it. Next, democracy beyond majoritarianism. That is, unelected judges are not anti-democratic. They protect liberty, equality, and rights from the majoritarian excesses. For judiciary to retain legitimacy, its own appointment process must embody accountability. So there is a need for reform. The author of the article argues for reforms. That is, Collegium has a history of resisting transparency reforms. Without reform, judiciary risks diminishing its moral authority. Greater openness will strengthen independence by rooting in public trust. Okay, so very important articles which is going to be very significant in upcoming prelims and mains. Next is a very concerning article. It talks about less than 40% of the disabled persons have ID which is needed for benefits. Okay, the article says that there is coverage gap in its key findings. That is, less than 40% of the PWDs, that is persons with disabilities, in India have unique disability ID card, which is important for availing the benefits. Pending backlogs are 1 lakh plus applications are pending, and 60% are delayed by over 6 months. Next, state variations. That is, better coverage is found in Tamil Nadu, Meghalaya, Odisha, and Karnataka, where it is more than 50%, and very poor coverage in West Bengal, where it is just 6%. That is the sorry state of West Bengal at the moment. And AP and Telangana, there is no separate data for both states. That is also a data discrepancy issues. Why unique disability ID matters? Centralized national database of PWDs. It is a centralized database of PWDs. It helps in access to best schemes like ADIP, such as wheelchairs, crutches, prosthetics, hearing aids, and braille kits. These can be held at a discounted rate under this UDID. Next, eligibility for scholarships, reservations in government jobs, and welfare schemes. All this depend on this UDID. So it has to be streamlined. It has to be faster. Reason for low coverage. One is implementation gaps. That is, earlier state level disability certificates, there was a sudden shift to UDID, not well communicated. Next, delays in processing. That is, half of the applications are pending for more than 6 months, and Himachal Pradesh, Ladakh, and Mizoram, more than 80% are being delayed. Digital divide. That is, UDA application is online only. It requires uploading scanned documents. The digital literacy remains low in the persons with disabilities. So only 60% of Indians 15 plus can perform basic digital tasks. So it makes accessibility very difficult for all the PWDs. Lower among the women, and PWD specific data is unavailable at the moment. Next, funding cuts. That is, despite raise in overall PWD scheme budget, UDID sub-scheme funding has been reduced. The political neglect is PWDs are approximately about 2.68 crore in the current population. That is 2% of the population. Weak electoral constituency, low political incentives, meaning they are not properly represented, and there is also very lesser PWDs who are serving the nation at the moment, who are acting as representative at the moment. Broader implications is, without PUDID, persons with disabilities will face exclusion from welfare benefits, reservations, and assistive devices. Reflects digital inclusion and administrative inefficiency at the moment. Shows gap between policy intent, that is the inclusion is the policy intent, and the implementation reality, which ultimately leads to exclusion of the PWDs. And various data has been provided in this document. You can just go back and search in the Telegram channel of Video CS Academy. You'll get this document. Then there was an article from the text and context, which I will cover in a separate topic of the day, depending on the need of this article. So we'll discuss this in the topic of the day session. Prelims pointers. One is aircraft leasing, wet, dry versus damp. Why it is in news? What do you mean by wet, dry, and damp aircraft leasing? Wet lease, it includes aircraft plus crews, that is the pilot and cabin crews, plus maintenance plus insurance. The responsibilities are split, that is, lesser responsibilities are handling the operational aspects. Lessee is decides commercial operations. Okay. Next, that is leaser. Use case, that is, it is mainly for short-term needs only. Seasonal spikes, route trials, aircraft shortages. Whenever there is a need for aircraft shortages or seasonal trials, then they will be leasing to wet lease to be done by one aircraft company to another company. Limitations is DGCA discourages wet lease in India because crew may not meet Indian approval standards. Next is dry lease. It includes only the aircraft, no crew maintenance or insurance. Responsibilities, lessee arranges the crew maintenance as per the DGCA norms and insurance. Use cases, long-term fleet expansion and modernization. Advantages, greater control and cost efficiency over the long term. Next is the damp lease, that is partial wet lease. It includes aircraft plus flight crew plus maintenance. Excludes cabin crew, which is provided by the lessee. Next use case, a middle ground between wet and dry lease, often used when cultural or linguistic familiarity of the cabin crew is very important. So, Indian context, this wet, dry, and dump leasing is governed by DGCA under civil aviation regulations. Okay, wet is aircraft plus cabin crew plus all the maintenance. Dry is only the aircraft, whereas damp is aircraft plus flight crew plus maintenance only. Next, Foreigners Tribunal. What is Foreigners Tribunal? It is a quasi-judicial body created under Foreigners Tribunal Order of 1964, issued under Section 3 of Foreigners Act 1946. Mandate is decide whether a person is a foreigner, that is illegally immigrant, or an Indian citizen. The unique role in Assam is that due to illegal migration coming from Bangladesh and also the implementation of CAA in the Assam at the beginning. Composition, it is headed by members drawn from retired judges, advocates, or civil servants with judicial experience. Enjoy powers of civil court under CPC 1908 and now also part of judicial magistrate first class. Powers, that is a pre-2025 order, is that summon and examine people on oath, call for documents, decide citizenship status within 60 days, and if declared a foreigner, person should be sent to detention centers, that is the transit camps, for deportation. These are the powers of foreign tribunal before 2025 order. Next, are foreign tribunals unique to Assam only? Order of 1964 applies nationwide, but foreign trades tribunals operate mainly in Assam. So, though they are mainly in Assam, but they are not exclusive for Assam. In other states, suspected foreigners are produced before the local courts under Foreigners Act of 1946. 2019 amendment said that states are also empowered to set up foreign tribunals. Earlier, only center could set up these foreign tribunals. Next, 2025 update, that is what is in news with respect to Immigration and Foreigners Act of 2025. It replaces Foreigners Tribunal Order 1964 with Immigration and Foreigners Order 2025. The key changes are FTs can issue arrest warrants against suspected foreigners who fail to appear, power to detain individuals pending verification, powers of a civil court under CPC 1908, that is summon witnesses, call for documents, and issue commissions. Then Judicial Magistrates First Class under BNSS Bharatiya Nyaya Samhita of 2023 issues warrants, enforce attendance, and direct personal appearance. So the powers have been expanded. This makes foreign tribunal much stronger because it provides judicial and quasi-criminal powers as well. Next, the significance is it is seen as part of India's tighter immigration and citizen enforcement regime, crucial for handling illegal immigration cases, and raises debates on due process, human rights, and detention policies. I think the video is only for 20 minutes at the moment, so let us complete this article as well. Instead of bringing a separate topic of the day, we'll consider or cover this should our reservations exceed 50% cap in the news analysis only. Constitutional framework, that is under Article 15 and 16, it guarantees equalities. However, it allows special provisions for SCs, STs, OBCs, and socially and educationally backward classes. In the subsequent 15 clause B, C, and D, and 16 clause C, A, C, B, and D, E. All these articles provide for separate reservation for SC, ST, OBCs. Next, reservation at the center at the present is for OBC it is 27, for SC it is 15%, for ST it is 7.5%, for EWS it is 10%. Total of 15.5%, which varies by state. Judicial standpoints is few of the judicial interpretations of this 50% reservation have been. Balaji of the state of Mysore in 1962, it says that reservations is an exception to equality. However, it should be within a reasonable limit, which set up a 50% cap introduced in state of Mysore versus Balaji case. State of Kerala versus M. Thomas case. Substantive equality view, that is reservations is equal to assertion and not an exception. No ruling on 50% cap in this particular case. Then Indra Savani case, also famously known as Mandal judgment. Upheld OBC reservation, that is 27%. Reaffirmed 50% ceiling except in exceptional cases. Introduced creamy layer exclusion of the OBCs. Next, Janahita Abhiyan of 2022 upheld 10% EWS quota, that is economically weaker section quota. Said 50% cap applies to backward classes and not for EWS. Next, Davinder Singh 2024 suggested exploring creamy layer within SCST, which caused huge uproar in the India, and government rejected the proposal at the moment. Next, the key issues are formal and substantive equality. That is, formal equality is uniform treatment, that is, reservations is equal to exception. However, substantive equality, it addresses historical disadvantage. It considers reservation as continuation. Next, demand for expansion. That is, some political leaders like Tejasvi Yadav calls for 85% reservation to reflect caste demographics. Request caste census. Last accurate members missing since 1931. So he requested for caste census, which was concluded in recently in Bihar. Now they want to bring caste census throughout India. Concentration of benefits. That is, Rohini Commission said that 97% of the OBC's benefit goes to 25% of the subcaste, and 1,000 OBC communities at zero representation. So we need sub-classification within OBCs as well. Similar concentration is being found among ST, SCs, and there is no creamy layer exclusion in SCSTs as well. Though there is creamy layer for OBCs, there is no creamy layer for SCSTs. Despite the presence of creamy layers, the representation of certain OBC communities has been absolutely zero. So they are focusing on Rohini Commission said that there should be sub-classification of OBCs along with creamy layer or sub-categorization of SCST as well. Vacancy problem, that is 40 to 50% of reserved seats are often remain unfilled. Critics say that creamy layer in SCST is unnecessary if the vacancies are not filled. Next, risk is exclusion may increase backlogs later converted to general seats as well. Next is way forward. Database policy. Caste census 2027 is essential for rational quota design, national quota design, and subcategorization, that is implementing Rohini Commission's equitable OBC distribution and two-tier system for SCSTs, that is prioritizing the most marginalized society first, that is following the ideal of Antyodaya, Sarvodaya in Antyodaya of Gandhiji. Sarvodaya in Antyodaya of Gandhiji. Next, balancing equality and opportunity, that is avoid arbitrary expansion, that is up to 85%, which is going to undermine equality clause itself. What about 100% reservation for everyone? That will be the next demand. Beyond quotas, skill development plus private sector opportunities are essential since public jobs are limited. Okay, why only focusing on the public government jobs or the government jobs? Why only giving a reservation in these particular jobs? Expand these benefits to private as well, or expand skilling so that the Dalits, SCSTs or Dalits can find jobs somewhere else as well, not just the government offices. So this is the crust of today's news analysis or the newspaper. So I have covered most important articles in a holistic way. So if you like the video, then please hit the like button, comment on it, and also share with your friends. And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe to the channel and click on the bell icon so that you don't miss a notification. With this, I will end the video. Jai Hind.